What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity. I hope you guys are doing well. The Modern Warfare 3 campaign released yesterday. And of course, it released to some problems. And I just think it's completely on brand for Activision to release something and have it not be 100% perfect. Because this is Activision's MO. Whenever they release anything new, it does not work 100% as intended. I get it. Video games are complicated. Video games are difficult. But I didn't see any problems when Spider-Man 2 released. I didn't see many problems when Baldur's Gate 3 released for players being able to play what they purchased. But that's not the case with Call of Duty. That's not the case with Modern Warfare 3. No, of course, there's day one issues when it comes to early access campaign. And I get it, it's early access. But you paid for it by pre-ordering this game. This is a feature you get, and unfortunately, Call of Duty failed at delivering it without complication day one. You pay for a video game, you should get the video game. You pay for a feature, you should get the feature. But unfortunately, Activision has no quality control whatsoever, and we once again are witnessing it in real time. Yes, the problem is going to be fixed in a timely fashion. I'm sure it's already been fixed. But that does not stop the fact that when you purchase something, it should work as intended. When you're updating something, it should work as intended. But of course, with Activision and their current run of games, nothing works as intended, and everything is always broken, needing additional fixes, forcing the community to wait. Imagine if you took work off yesterday to play the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, and you were welcome to your Modern Warfare 3 campaign with a please enter disk error code. Do you realize how frustrating, how infuriating that would be? I took a day off to play this campaign early, and this is what I get? Come on! It's unacceptable, and for anybody that's going to come in here and defend Activision and say, well, there's always going to be problems. The hell! That's not the truth. That's not how it works within the gaming industry. It is unacceptable. I don't care how fast you fix it. It shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. You could have quality controlled it. That's the number one thing here. You know, you've been accused of being lazy this year, Sledgehammer. You've been accused of being lazy this year, Activision. This should not have been a problem. But it again reinforces the idea that nobody over at Activision or its developers has a clue about what's going on with a franchise, has a clue on what good game design looks like. And you know what? I fear for next week's launch of Modern Warfare 3. I fear that it's going to be the same issues. Issues that could have easily have been fixed through some quality control. I'm not saying this exact issue is going to exist next week, no. What I'm saying, though, is there will be issues that pop up that force players to not be able to play, that won't allow players to be able to play the game that they purchased as intended. And while they might get fixed quickly, they should never have been issues at all. I've talked in lengths about how this launch needs to be perfect, and it's already hitting roadblocks. It's already hitting speed bumps, and the game hasn't even released yet. It's releasing a pre-launch feature. That's all it's releasing. It's saying, here's the campaign early for pre-ordering our game. Thank you for your continued loyalty. And you know what your loyalty got you? Please enter disk. Like, that's unacceptable. And I know people are going to rush to the defense of Activision and say this happens to all the other games. It's just an early feature problem. I don't care. One of your biggest marketing ploys was to feature early campaign access if you pre-order. And you don't have access to that on the first day? It's just unacceptable. And do you think there'll be any recourse for this? Do you think there'll be anything that is given back to the fan base, given back to the community? No. They'll sweep it under the rug and wait for the next thing to break the game. I honestly wanted this launch to go smoothly. I wanted there to not be news when I check my Twitter feed. But that's just not the case. And frankly, the community deserves better. And the developers need to start doing their flippin' jobs. Activision needs to hire some people to playtest their games, to look through quality control, and actually listen to them. We saw multiple updates during the Modern Warfare 2 life cycle that broke their game when they released. And they just released it and they're like, we'll fix it anyways. The problem with live service, and this is a huge issue that faces the entire industry, is it's a release now, fix later mindset. And that just cannot be continuously rewarded. And that's what we're doing as a community. That's what we're doing as an industry, is rewarding this. We'll fix it now, we'll fix it later, but we'll release it now. And it has to stop. It has to stop with Call of Duty. It has to stop with, we saw it with Cyberpunk. We saw it with a multitude of different games. This type of mentality from the publishers has to stop. It is unacceptable to release a game or release a feature in this case and have it not work as intended day one, especially when it was such a big part of your marketing scheme. Don't wait till next week to play Modern Warfare 3. Play the campaign a week early. Here you go. Thank you for pre-ordering the game. And your thank you? Your anticipation is rewarded with what? Disk error. Please enter disk. It's unacceptable. And do you think this instills any confidence within the community going into next week's full launch of the entire game? Heavens no! There's no way you can feel confident as a member of this community believing that Activision and Sledgehammer Games are going to launch this game with no issues. I remember I was around when Modern Warfare 2 released, when Black Ops 1 released, when Modern Warfare 3. These games launched as intended. They launched with no issues. And here we are 10 plus years later with a campaign early access feature not working as intended. But no one in this community is surprised. No one is sitting there absolutely shocked that it didn't work as intended. That's a problem, Activision. That's a problem, Sledgehammer Games. You have such low expectations from this community that you can't even hit them. You can't even surprise them anymore with your incompetence. It's not acceptable. How does anybody feel as if the multiplayer launch next week is going to go smoothly after this fiasco? And some of you may sit there and say, Ferocity, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. This isn't even affecting that many players. People are able to play the game just fine. That's not the point here. The point is to make a mountain out of this molehill, because the point is the game is unpolished. Once again, they are showcasing their track record of lacking the ability to have some quality control, lacking the ability of doing some service to their product. It is unacceptable that the game has flaws day one. This is worst case scenario for Sledgehammer Games. They're already now starting off behind the 8-ball. People have no faith in next week's launch at this point in time. This is what they needed to avoid, and unfortunately they couldn't do it because, again, nobody over at Activision, nobody at Sledgehammer Games cares enough. This has been the problem with Call of Duty. The games may be bad. Yeah, I could agree with that. There's been some issues there. But it's the lack of care, the lack of any type of effort to ensure that the product is at least working optimally that has been the biggest issue that these games have faced for the last 4 to 5 years. Call of Duty is not working as intended when it should be. You have all of this money. You have all these developers. This should not be a problem. But here we are. We are in a situation where incompetence is constantly being rewarded. This is why I ask people why you spend money on battle passes, why you spend money on cosmetics, when this is the type of quality you consistently get from this company. People should not purchase the Vault Edition. People should not be buying this game day one. People should not be buying the first battle pass. If this is what is expected this year, oh boy, am I going to have fun. Absolutely tearing a strip off of Call of Duty all year long. Because this is not a good start. And for those of you that want to pour your paychecks into the cosmetics of this game, you're part of the problem. You're helping sink Call of Duty. And you know what? I hope you get what you deserve, which is lackluster gameplay, lackluster quality control, and most certainly incompetence from the developers. You're the problem. You're the one that's incentivizing this nonsense and saying it's completely okay to have a bad game, to have a lazy game, to have a development team that has zero quality control. Again, I will state this. I am making a mountain out of this molehill because it needs to be said, it needs to be done. This is unacceptable and is once again showcasing the incompetence of everyone over at Activision and everyone over at Sledgehammer Games. The game should not be released in a state like this, and I am waiting to see what kind of state we're going to get come November 10th. Is it going to be competent? Is it going to be completed? Are we going to be welcomed with a ton of bugs and broken features and missing features like we did in Modern Warfare 2? I guess only time will tell. I thought that maybe Activision learned their lesson. Maybe Sledgehammer Games is actually going to listen to the community and work with them. Make sure that this type of stuff wasn't going to happen. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. It is the same old nonsense. It's the same old Activision. And it's the same old incompetent Sledgehammer Games. Oh boy, am I looking forward to absolutely tearing this game a new one all year long. I want to see change in this franchise, and you should too. This is unacceptable, and it's unfair to you, the consumer. Clock's ticking, Activision. Figure it the fuck out. That's all I have to say about this topic. Leave a comment down below if you feel as infuriated as I am. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.